Hey, I'm the Amelia one, and I'm recording this for Emily because I could just text it to her, but okay. So Emily posted a video about an alternative to hope, which I was like, yeah. I didn't know she'd had her hope broken because I never had any. Never. I have never. Nope, never. And I must admit that for so many years, I didn't believe that emotions were exactly real. Because, alexithymia and autism and childhood trauma and stuff. So I never really thought it through until Brando Sando. Yeah. So this is information about hope from Brandon Sanderson, from the most recent of the Stormlight books. And I want you to notice where in the story it is. This is the beginning of the book. And it's here, like, right at the end. I mean, look at that. This is the beginning of the book. And we are so close to the end. Like, just the very last few pages. And the final decisive battles are about to take place. And the people who are running one of the battles, Dalinar and Yasna. Yasna is queen. Dalinar is her uncle. And they are both warriors and, magically empowered people. And Yasna is the quiet autistic. In Brando Santos books, he's got like a more explicitly autistic character in this series, who conforms to like skinny white boy, awkward, social, whatever. And then he's got Yasna, who is a scholar and, fixated on like perfect truth without, the bias of emotional. Okay, Yasna's awesome, but most people in the books don't like her. So here they are in a meeting, strategizing about what they're going to do next. Yasna's been kind of like summon things up as they are, and Dalinar, her uncle, says, "The way you talk lacks hope." "Hope," she said, spreading her papers out on the table. "Have I ever told you how much I dislike that word? Think of what it means, what it implies. You have hope when you're outnumbered. You have hope when you lack options. Hope is always irrational, Uncle." "Fortunately, we are not entirely rational beings, nor should we want to be," she agreed. "At the same time, how often has hope been the reason someone refuses to move on and accept a realistic attitude? How often has hope caused more pain or delayed healing? How often has hope prevented someone from standing up and doing what needs to be done because they cling to a wish for everything to be different?" And then on the next page, Dalinar is reflecting on the meeting. "The things you said about hope in the meeting," Dalinar said, "they bothered me, Yasna, but perhaps in a good way. Who in the world would dispute an idea as fundamental as hope? Yet because we all accept it as vital, we don't think about it, what it really means. You do." "I try," she said. And then there's, the rest of the book that happens. That's a high fantasy reference. Emily quotes poetry, and I quote Brandon Sanderson. But I actually have another fantasy example, and that is in the Dresden Files. Look, Emily's quoting Sonia Renee Taylor and philosophers and Emily Dickinson. Like I'm choosing the side of the problematic white dudes. I don't have any excuse for myself, but the stories are impactful in a way that I think there's probably more Brandon Sanderson fans than Emily Dickinson fans. I kind of always thought Emily Dickinson was bullshit. Anyway, Brandon's problematic, but he's trying. The Dresden Files, Jim Butcher is an author who is not defending the misogyny or the male gaziness that is so entrenched in his writing. Anyway, there's a thing in the Dresden Files where there's 3 swords, and each of the swords has in it a nail from the cross of the crucifixion of Jesus. And the swords have power, like maybe it's angelic power. When a Christian holds the sword, he calls himself a Knight of the Cross, and it's a sword of the cross. But when an atheist and a Jew hold the swords, they think of themselves as Knights of the Sword. And the 3 swords are named the sword of love, the sword of hope, and the sword of faith. It sounds like I'm saying sort of love, sort of, but sword of love, sword of hope, sword of faith. And this refers to biblical passage in the letter from Paul to the Corinthians, the one that you hear quoted at weddings all the time, the love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy thing. The last verse in that chapter is, now 3 things abide, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. And yeah, I'm looking at my computer monitor to read it because I have a physical copy. I have a physical copy of Rhythm of War, but I had to look up the Bible quote on the internet. Anyway, the point is that there's 3 swords, faith, hope, and love. And the knight who holds the sword of hope is an atheist. He's also a black man from Russia. So he is set up to be someone who is rare. He is objectively someone who is statistically unlikely, right? But his function as the book is to serve as like an embodiment of hope itself and how much our main character has access to that as a divine and magical power. So even in the Dresden Files, it's set up that like hope is maybe not the thing all the time. It's one of the things, but it's maybe not the thing. And if we go back to 1 Corinthians, it explicitly says, if I have faith but not love, I have nothing. Now, I'm not saying that the Bible's right about all the things. I'm just saying that this is like wisdom of the ages. So like, if Hank Green is having depression and trying to like cling to hope or even to faith, I think there's evidence. wait. I think there's evidence. I think there's evidence that there's an alternative power that can pull you through, and that's love. And Emily, I've said so many times that like we didn't think we'd be writing a self-help book that said that love is the answer, because like, ew, love. It's so touchy-feely and oh, really? Love it. Love is the answer. And one of the things that supports that is the science behind meaning, that like leaving a legacy behind or heeding a call to serve mankind or just participating in a loving relationship can give your life meaning, which can sustain you in the hardest of times. Now there's an airplane. Dogs and airplanes, but I'm not redoing this because this is just a quick video to respond to Emily's video. Also, I want to be clear that in Corinthians, Paul is not necessarily talking about amor, love, like the Latin amor, which means like romantic love, but caritas also, and agape. These are like, there's multiple kinds of love, and then agape and caritas and amor are different from each other, and it's so annoying that all English has is love. Like we didn't think we'd be writing a Sylvie Helpy book that said love is the answer. But like, remember all the research that says that the cure for burnout is not self-care, it's all of us caring for each other. The answer is love. It's the bubble of love. It's having a bonded unit of people who will remind you that you are worthy of love without having to change or conform to any external expectations. So like, hey Emily and hey Hank Green, if you can't hope, and even faith is like, there's a third thing. It's love. It's all of us caring for each other. This is me doing that. Okay, that's it. Except I always end by saying the cure for burnout. And even, am I saying that even a treatment for depression? I mean, definitely. The cure for burnout and super helpful for managing depression is not self-care. It's all of us caring for each other.